Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Female Gentle Leaders podcast. I'm your host. My name is Poli, and today we will be talking about writing a book in a foreign language and running a business in multiple languages, because this is something that connects me as a business architect to Christelle Pilot, who is an amazing career and life coach. And also, she's my colleague and a co-author of our book. So this is why we are here today. We will be talking about our journeys and mostly, of course, of Christelle's journey. And also, we would love to invite you to support our book. We are in the middle of our launch. We are just launching our book. You will find all the links below or up. It depends on where you will see us. But we are so excited about it. So let's dive in. And Christelle, I'm so happy to have you here. Could you tell us more about what you do as a career and life coach for women?
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me with you today. It's really a pleasure. So, I am helping women to transform their career in order to feel more alive and to beat depression and to change their life, their lifestyle, their life, to put the right priorities. To usually my clients, they have a nice career, but they feel just completely empty, burned, depressive, thinking that they are not giving the best, thinking that what they are doing right now have no big sense, but no big meaning, and they just want to change that. But it's not always easy to find out, okay, what could I do if I don't do what I have done the last 15 years? So the big questions and big fears as well, and big challenges like time, energy challenges. So we work on all that. That's why I don't like to say that I am a business coach, because it's not true. We really work on all parts of life in order to have the right balance, to have the right energy, and then to go for what we think is the purpose of our lives.
That's amazing. And I love that this is also something we have together, that we love to build the balance in life, that it's not only business, right? It's not only work, it's not only family and children, it's everything connected. And around your work, what do you feel is a common ground? Because you lived it yourself. I read your chapter. So what do you feel when you work with your clients? Is there a common ground or a moment in our lives when we can feel that emptiness and we are maybe thriving to search for more in life? Is it that?
Well, what I believe, so what I see and what I have seen with myself is that I kind of knew that my career wasn't the right career for me, but as long as I could continue to grow and to learn and to discover things, so I was happy to continue to go in this direction. It was well paid. It was
It was
still interesting.
still
And
interesting.
can you hear my mic? Maybe I have to change something in my.
Yeah, I hear you well, but I can mute myself.
Okay. And so it was okay, but until like the pain point was so big that I really had to change that. So it was really like changing my saving myself and my life. It was like the survival instinct. It was not like, oh, I would like to, I have to. If I don't do it, I don't know. It's not going to be it's not going to be able to continue this way. It's over, kind of. So like it was really like a big urgency. And what I can see with my clients, kind of the same. So usually they come to me, not all of them, but a lot of them, because they just quit their job, because they just heard that they are sick, they are completely depressive, they are burned, but they sometimes, so they ask, maybe I should do it or not, I'm not sure, and then they come 6 months later like, okay, I'm done, I just quit my job, just quit my boss, and it's like this non-return point But now I really have to do something. So it's a pity because, but we are all like that. So we really wait the last minute where we don't have any choice anymore. It's okay, now I have to react. I have to open my eyes and to do something different, which is, yeah, it's a pity because if we could do that beforehand, we could have a better strategy, we have more energy, we could maybe take a little bit more of time, because usually my clients, they have children, they have family, so it's a lot of complication. And that's why I'm doing what I do, because as I wanted to change my career, I really felt alone. And I have seen some career coaches, but it was all about my career. And but I have three little children between like 0 and 5 years old. So, and I am very dedicated and I'm an achiever and I can do things that eventually some other woman can't do. But still, I have these three children. I have to take care of them. Still, I cannot sleep night. Um, I I have to drive them to school and so on. And that's our facts. And even if I have a husband and he is part of the journey, there is a lot of things to take care of. And the most challenging for me was not to transform my career, it was to transform my life around this new career. That was the most challenging, and it's how I want to help women to deal with the family, to deal with the husband, because sometimes, like, my husband wasn't really happy with my choices. So I really to fight against that. We don't have always like a very supportive husband helping in every kind he can. But it's not because he's not doing it that he's the bad guy. So it's really okay. So you can find ways. I know that you had this period as well with you, like you had to rebalance and to look at, okay, as a couple, how should we now function in order to continue together? So it was, in my case, it was big work that I had to do, like finding the right balance. And even if I couldn't find the support that I wanted and I needed, that I could understand, yeah, but he's still the right person and he has his way to deal with the situation. Yeah, just like taking a little bit of distance and looking at things. And so it's not only about career, it's really about changing our lives and doing that the best way in order to I call like building a team at home, like everyone has like his space, and there is so many moms, so they feel restrained and constrained in their family. They feel alone, they feel that they have to push and pull everyone, and if they need help and support, nobody is there because nobody cares about them. And I understand that, and there's so many having this feeling, and I know how different it can be, and how I know how it can be really awesome to have the team around. And yeah, just want to help them to feel that and to have that and to have this energy, and then to go for passion and to write a book and these kind of things.
I really love that. And as you said, it's always better to change something in our lives before we hit rock bottom. But
Yeah,
it's not exactly our nature,
no,
people's nature. Because, yeah, until it's survivable, I would say, until it's okay in some way, and we can say to ourselves, I can't change because it's still, I don't know, bringing a lot of money. Or, as you said, I'm still growing. So um, it maybe is normal for me not to be completely
yeah.
happy.
As long as you see the
Long as
light in the tunnels, so you continue. If you don't see any light anymore, you're okay. Maybe I have to find another way.
but and then it's exactly as you said, that it's not only about maybe changing work, right, or going from work to business ownership. It's about changing our entire lives, because it's, if we only change the work, and I see that, oh, often, because I s- I work with business owners. I see that often if women or men, it doesn't matter, if they only change that fact, if they only go from work to business ownership because they thought it would bring them more freedom, they
Mm.
just create their own employment
Yes,
and
exactly.
their life stays the same, maybe even more stressful because it's all on them.
Yeah.
And because
Good one,
they never had to delegate and build a team of their own, it's often even worse than it was in their job.
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Why I loved the fact that you helped to change everything, because I see it on myself, as you said. Me and my husband, we changed a lot, and we really live differently than we lived before. We live differently than most of our friends
Mm-hmm.
here, but it's a fact. And it's really different. Today, as I told you before we went live, we went to the pool after we dropped our children to school and preschool. Then we went and had an amazing breakfast. And only around 10 a.m., we came back home. He's now working, and I'm working with you and having this amazing um, discussion. But that's it. This is my free day. And this is something we needed to plan, both of us, to put it
Mm-hmm.
in calendars, to say no to often money, right? To say no to clients. I'm not free this day. I have my other work, and you have your Mondays also as like that minimum work with clients and work on your business. And
Yeah.
that's really different. If we don't go deep in the change, we will just repeat the trauma, repeat the things that we are used to, right?
Yeah, exactly. And because we are in this kind of urgency, okay, I really have to change something now. So we don't take really the time to go deep, and we don't have the tools usually to go deep because emotionally we are so charged that it's really difficult to, to calm down and to really have rational thinking. Um, and I have seen that so many times as well, like people saying, okay, I'm going to change. So there is people, they say, okay, I'm never going to, I want to, but I can't. So I'm never going to do any change until they go into burnout and they, okay, now I have to. And there is some people, so they okay, I can't go further. So I do my change. But they don't really think much about how, or they think, I have so many people telling me, oh, I love what you do. I want to be a coach as well. Okay. Sure, I love what I do, but maybe you should dig a little bit deeper and look at what it is really, and then we can discuss about that. But it's exactly what I help people to do, to have this clarity, to know their strengths, to know their talent, to have the clarity, to understand the meaning of the change they want to do, to give the tools in order to achieve the change, and then they can do it. But there is so many people, so they don't really plan beforehand. And after 3 years of change or like starting their own business, so they think, oh my God, if I knew, so I would have never started that, or it's not what I thought it would be. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And we can see it on our own businesses. And that's what we wanted to share with all of you here. Because Christelle isn't working only in English, she's working also in French and German. So when you did the big change, it was really a big change. It wasn't only only the change from career to business ownership and coaching, but it was also, I think, and you just will add,
Yeah.
I think, much more. I think there was also a decision in which language will you work, who will be your ideal client, if you will work in English or not. Because for me, it was my big business, my six-figure business is in Czech, and I've been building it for last. Oh, I'm in business for a lot of years, but this
Mm.
one for 4 years. And so my community is there, and I felt and I added the English and global part of business in this last year. So I didn't start everything in the same moment. I
Which
wait
is great.
for this.
It's a good way to
Yeah,
do
I
it.
wait. And it wouldn't let me do otherwise. It was my journey like that, right? So, how was it for you? Was it different, right?
Yeah, I think I have done the most drastic change we can ever do, like being an employee as a chemical engineer to being a self-employed or having my own business and in a completely different field like coaching. And regarding the languages, so yeah, it's really it's okay now. I really feel comfortable right now. But as I started, as was like I think I started in French. Yeah, kind of. But yeah, I live in Germany, so we speak German at home. And at that time, I spoke German at work. But I'm French, so I speak French with my kiddies. And I have like a French community here, like the French mafia, Germany. And indeed, so my problem is that I took a lot of coaching certification in English on top of that as well. So I had like an international community and I had all my knowledge in English. And at the end, I was like, if I speak only French, well, the people that I have here in Germany, so they are not only French, so it's really international. And I left France like 20 years ago. So yeah, sure, I still have friends French living in France and speaking only French, but it's like very, very small proportion. And my problem was always, yeah, but to have so you have a lot of advices. So a lot of people say you should do your business in your own language because it's where you have the most impact. Yeah, but it's not where I have my clients really. So my clients sometimes, and at the beginning I did a lot as well of coaching for children or for the couple and so on. So one is German, the other one is come out from England or whatever. So it was really complicated. But indeed, so I can have more impact in French, right? So you have your true character coming out. So in French, I'm funny, which I'm not necessarily in German or in English because it's difficult to make a joke when it's not your own tongue. So now I decided to do that in English. So everything is in English, and I still have people say, "Yeah, but it's not okay. You should do the same in French." But okay, now it's clear it's in English, and I still do a lot of things in French and in German here in Germany anyway because I have my local clients here. But I feel comfortable enough to be in the three languages. Which wasn't really the case like a few years ago. Every time I push my German, I lose a little bit my English. Even my French now, sometimes I think it's really annoying. I can't really speak any language properly. I don't find my words and I'm like, so,
I think that's the issue when you switch languages. I have it
yeah,
all the time. And I always, if I have a blind window, I think, or something, I just can't remember a word in that language which I'm speaking in that moment.
exactly.
It often comes in a completely different language, that word. So my teacher, she taught me just say it in that language which
That you
your
have in
brain
mind.
choose.
Mm.
Yeah. So I always say it, and then comes the right language.
Yeah, that happens. So my ideal clients are the client that, and I have a lot of them like that. So they speak like two or three of my languages. And then somehow we find the right words because even if I take another from another language, they okay, fine. Or there is like this typical expression that you love in one language, but you don't have it in another one, and this one would be just on point, but I can't say it because the person in front of me doesn't speak the exactly same language that and you feel frustrated, and so you are like in a resistance, in inner resistance. So I know that a lot of my clients explains me because they don't work in their own language. They explain me that it's fun for maybe the first years, because again, you are in this discovery mode and growth mode, and everybody tells you, oh, it's really great, and you speak this other language so nicely and so on, that you feel well in this kind of environment. But I have a lot of my clients, at some point they say I can't anymore. It's really some of them even tell me I feel like a second zone citizen, because I don't really or they are in Germany but they don't really speak German. And yeah, we can learn a language, but it's not always so easy. There is some languages a little bit more complicated than others, or your work environment is like still English, so that's why you don't really progress so much. Your improvement is slow, and maybe you are busy with children, with work, with some other daily problems. So sometimes they feel like inferior. They feel they lose a little bit of their self-confidence. And I believe that only people spending a long period of time in a country can really understand that, because like my husband doesn't really understand that. His English is very well, but he speaks English only for vacation and at work and when he's traveling a bit. But it always comes back to base, to his country, his language, and he's not, he doesn't have the struggle, like everyday struggle, not being completely you somehow. And with my husband, I know that my husband doesn't really speak French, so he understands always more. But I always have this thought that he doesn't really know the French part of me. So the Christelle speaking French, and it's a little bit, yeah, a pity somehow.
Well, I hope he knows you're funny, Crystal, even in German. And yes, that's really important to know. And I'm glad you shared everything around your business and languages. And what do you feel? Or is there a tip, maybe, or from your experience, would you do it again in the same way, or would you do it differently?
You speak about building my business or juggling with languages. Building my business, I definitely would do differently. That's why I help my clients to start their business if they want to start a business, because that is something that I have seen as well. Some people are just not ready for that, or they just don't feel doing it, which is really okay. I would definitely start my business differently. So that's great that there is people like you helping people doing it properly, the properly way. And regarding the languages, I think so. It's really like a process. It's really yeah. I don't know how I would have been able to do that differently. The thing is as well, today it's far easier than like 10 or 20 years ago. I remember like a little bit more than 20 years ago, I was in China. I spent 6 months in China, so I couldn't speak any Chinese at all. And I was in like a small city where nobody could speak English. And everything was written in Chinese. So 6 months there, when you say, okay, I don't even come back to my English. And I started to try to learn. I had to try to learn a little bit of Chinese. I had to like on the restaurant to have like a paper where people put me like the kind of meals that I liked to eat, and I just had to show that, like I would like to have that. Or I had to go through the restaurant, so I would like to have that, and I would like to have that, looking at the table of the clients. So like 20 years ago, it was really difficult if you couldn't speak the language. Today, you have so many ways. Today, it's far easier for me to think, okay, I have this document in German. How can I translate that in English quickly? And 20 years ago, it was just very complicated. I spent hours and hours trying that, and at the end, it was not a good version. And then my husband has to take, okay, it's German, some kind of German, but it's so Frenchy and it's so weird. So we kind of understand what you mean, but no way, you cannot give this kind of document to an official business. So he had to translate it again. And today, so you have so many tools to help you jungle with the languages that it makes really easier. So if I would do it differently now, I wouldn't take so much energy to try to figure it out. And like 10 years ago, it was like, okay, no, I really have to stick to French now. And even if they don't speak French, and if they want me to do something in German or in English, it's not okay. I should say no. So I was really like trying to find my niche. And every time someone came and wasn't in my niche, I was, no, I can't take you. And now I'm really more flexible. It's okay, if I found that it's fun, I'm going to take you because it's just fun, and fun is my niche, let's say. So it's
That's
different.
great. It's different. Yeah, that's great. Just to relax around that, right?
Yeah.
I feel that too. I think that for somebody niching out and really have a specific narrow niche is amazing in languages, in topics, whatever. But for some of us, it's just not the way. I'm really broad too because I love building the entire business, right? So I can't narrow it down to, I don't know, clients or funnels or marketing. I just can't. And exactly, I just relax and I always just talk to the person. And if I feel that that's the
Chemistry is
topic I
there.
can help, right? Chemistry is there also, then I go for it and I just relax about it. And
Yeah, for me too.
in the little one, in the little part, the book is a little analogy on the business, on our businesses, because when we were writing it, both of us we were having a really tough time deciding how do
Yeah.
we write it. I remember the discussion because it's English, it's not our native language. And when you share the story, it's exactly as you said. We speak differently in all the languages. We are different people a little bit because it's not our native language. So
Yeah.
for me, it was the first draft. I needed to write it in Czech in hand. Then I had to transcribe it in the Google Doc. Then I put it in the translator. It translated a rough draft. I
You had
changed
to change. Yeah.
good English, right? And didn't make sense. But from that point, I wrote everything in English. I was working in English from that point, and I never came back to the Czech because I felt that from that moment,
Yeah.
the chapter was already in English. It would make me crazy to switch between the languages like that.
Yeah.
How was the process for you?
For me, so yeah, if you remember at the beginning, it was like, oh my God, I never wrote a book. And I never wrote in English really. So I was a little bit afraid of the whole process. As you did, I started on paper to gather my ideas, and mostly in French, but not completely. So it was, but it's always like that in my books or in my everywhere. I take some notes, so it's like a bit of whatever crossed my mind. So the biggest part was really like in French, written in French, and with sometimes because I just wrote something in English, so I just came a few sentences in English and then again in French. But to gather my ideas, really to look at, okay, what is it, what I want to write, to find my style as well. I really had to do that in French. And then, as I had the biggest part in French, I did like you did. So I translate it, and I rework the translation to be sure that it is my words, the words that I usually would use, and not that is something that that someone else would have been able to write for me. And from that, so I started to change, and then dependently sometimes, so I had to change or to add some stuff in the different small chapters, and sometimes I came back to the French version, then towards the English one again, and so on. So it was a hin und her, also yeah.
Don't worry, I speak German too, just a little bit, but
Perfect.
I do. And yes, and that's why we would love for you to read our book, because it's not only international in the way that it's in English and the whole world can buy it, but it's also written from women from all around the world. And you can see it in there, you can feel it in there. We really dig deep, and I still can't believe that the book is here, that
Mm,
we can really tell you, go and buy it, go and enjoy it, go and share it, and go and please review it too, because it's something that we would really appreciate from all of you. If you know us, or maybe you are looking at us and listening at us for the first time in your life, but if you feel aligned with what we are talking about, with what we believe in, what we want to do here on this world,
yeah.
please share, enjoy, and frankly,
Yeah.
really enjoy our book.
And I agree with you. So it's really more than just a book. So it's really more than just our stories, because we are going to meet very in a few days, like in Spain. So that means how international we are. So people come from Europe, come from US, and so on. So we are going to meet in Spain. So we are like a community. So it's not like we wrote. So I wrote my chapter and you in another part of the world, and we never met. So we had this 6 months connection together every week, and even more than that. And then we are going to meet. And then for me, it was like again entering like. I learned a lot about myself, but as well, so the other ladies pushed me and are still pushing me right now. And I believe that they are going to continue to push me during a while. And that lets me understand again. And I wrote that in the last part of my chapter, how important is to find your people in your community, the right people, because it's where energy goes. So where you can really thrive. And that's why it's the name of the book as well. But because it's not only a book, it's like really the community, and the community behind the scene is great and huge. And if you aligned with what we are saying right now, so I do believe that you are aligned with the ladies in the book, and then with the community behind the book. So yeah, buy it.
And we will be looking forward to what you tell us. Comment below and follow me for more of our interviews, because we will be continuing with my co-authors here, and I'm so excited about it, and much more. But also just comment below what you took out from our discussion today, because having a multilingual life is a challenge. We have it with Christelle, but adding the multilingual business to it and the writing of a book, it's quite a big challenge. And it's not only around business, it's like Christelle said, it's also about career. We have expats around the world, and
Yes.
we know what you are going through, because we are going through it as well.
Yeah.
And my chapter is called You Can Have It All. And I really, really believe that, because you can see it in the book that we all went through some pretty hard things in our lives, but we still managed to really create the life around us. And this is what we wanted to show you even here in this interview. Christelle, thank you so much for sharing your story,
Thank
sharing
you for
how
having me with you.
yeah, how your life changed, how you are an amazing coach, multilingual coach, I would say. And that's just amazing because clients from all around the world can be supported by you. And
Yeah, and just to add one thing, and I do believe that that has nothing to do with languages and so on, but it's really like the energy that you have. It has nothing to do with perfection, because if I would go back to perfection, I would do nothing. Because even my French now, it's like with a lot of English words and so on, and so nothing to do with perfection. Everything to do with the intention you put into it, and then people feel it. It connects or not. But perfection is a no-go. It's really more just go with your energy, with your flow, with your intentions, with what fills you, with what you can give, your talent, your strength, and then the rest is going to come. People are going to find you.
that's amazing. I always say, let's enjoy being imperfectly perfect because
Exactly.
none of us is perfect. We are all imperfectly, but perfect in that. So enjoy that and have an amazing day, Christelle, and you
You
all.
too.
And hopefully see you soon, Christelle, with you and with all of you. See you
Big
here.
hug.
Yes. And have an amazing day.